Today I am going to share with you guys what my version of the definition about the 12 houses in astrology are. So before I start to describe the definition of these houses in detail, I would like to share with you guys my categorization of the 12 houses into two big different clusters. The first cluster is about the house of desires, and then the second cluster is about the house of life lessons. The house of desires, which houses I put them under the jurisdiction of the houses of desires, are as follow. First house, house number 1. Second house, house number 2. Seventh house, house number 7. And then 10th house, house number 10. The rest of the houses I put them under the category of house of life lessons. So for the first house, my version of the definition of the first house is about two different categories. Actually, this is also true for all the houses of desires, that all houses of desires can be put into two categories, their definition. One part of their definition is about pleasure orientation. The second part of their definition is about identity momentum. For the pleasure orientation of the first house, it's about romance, adventure, poetry, marriage, gaming, excitement, sudden inspiration, extreme sports, etc. For the identity momentum of the first house, so far the only phrase I can think of to describe the identity momentum of the first house are two. One of them is open-mindedness, the other one is indifferent towards concept of self. For the pleasure orientation areas of the second house, my version of the definition of the second house is about physical comfort, physical sensations, cash, capital, company stocks, all forms of physical ease or material ease in accordance with the five senses, i.e. ears, eyes, mouth, tongue, touch, and smells. And it could also imply the definition of hedonistic or hedonism, the philosophy of hedonism and the personality of hedonistic. For the identity momentum areas of the second house, my version of the definition of the second house is about karmic fruits between different rebirths, i.e. your good deeds and bad deeds, the fruits that they produce that you inherited from the past lives to this life, and then from this life to the next life. And second house could also be defined as moral values under the jurisdiction of the identity momentum themes. Seventh house, under the jurisdiction of the pleasure orientation themes, could be defined as under what conditions would you explore or put more focus on pursuing fame more. For example, fame, this term could also be replaced by reputation, presence, influence, pets, hierarchy, higher rebirths, the different higher or lower stages between rebirths, clan reputation, household name, etc. For my version of the definition of the seventh house under the jurisdiction of themes of identity momentum, the house number 7 is about meaningful, purposeful, and impactful. So it will be defined as under what conditions would you start to explore being someone more that brings skillful or wholesome meaning, purpose, or impact. So being someone that is more meaningful, more purposeful, or more impactful towards others. For the 10th house, my version of the definition of the 10th house or house number 10 is about under what conditions would you start to explore or putting more focus on pursuing willpower more than others. The term willpower can also be replaced by determination or resolve or resolution. Next, I wanted to tell you guys about what is the definition of the house of life lessons, which is the remaining houses that I will explain them next in detail. So the definition of third house is about under what conditions would you start to explore or putting more focus on empathy, sympathy, or compassion more. In summary, the definition of third house from my version is about the life lesson of right mindfulness, i.e., empathy, sympathy, and compassion, etc. Fourth house from my version of the definition of the fourth house or number 4 is about under what conditions would you start to explore or putting more focus on how to live ethically and try not to harm other human beings or even living beings in general while you're maintaining your living or your lifestyle. In summary, the fourth house from my version of the definition is about the life lesson of right action. My version of the definition of the sixth house is under what conditions would you start to explore or putting more focus on the life lesson of right effort more. Right effort, by definition, is about realizing what is more important in pursuing your goals or living ethically, or what is the less important qualities when it comes to living ethically or being non-attached, and earnestly pursuing those more important qualities and discarding those less important qualities as quickly as possible. Eighth house is under what conditions would you start to explore or putting more focus on the life lesson of right concentration, i.e., the life lesson of developing emotional fortitude or indifference or non-attachment emotionally. Ninth house, from my version of the definition of the ninth house, house number 9, is splitting between, is combining two different versions of definition together. In the first part of the definition, it is about not auto-assuming views or belief systems as identities. The second part of the definition from my version of the ninth house is about not shaming your own desires and what you want, no matter how insignificant they may seem to other people. 11th house, my version of the definition of the 11th house or house number 11 is also the combination of two different definitions and that combine together. In the first part of the definition of the 11th house, from my version, it is about finding good companions that are easygoing and relatable to you, that also willing to give you verbal encouragement whenever you may need. The second part of the definition of my version of the 11th house is about even amidst facing your enemies you can still maintain your verbal integrity and not say any deceitful speech, and then also speak timely. Finally, for my version of the definition of the 12th house, 12th house or house number 12 to me represents the life lesson of right livelihood. If I want to elaborate what the life lesson is, it is about giving yourself permission to have basic sustenance and certain hobbies as long as they don't violate major violations of conduct such as harming or expressing deceitful speech, etc. One extra piece of info: the life lesson about the third house is about developing compassion and empathy verbally, not from other sectors. Purely verbal compassion and verbal sympathy or verbal empathy. Therefore, this is my version of the definition of the 12 houses in astrology.